Doodles. One word can cause so much controversy among trainers, groomers, not so much among pet parents, because I think unfortunately the sites and breeders that have the best SEO are not necessarily the ones that have the best information. So this is a case where you really need to listen to people who have dealt with these dogs many times, rather than the person who's trying to sell you the dog and has a vested interest in making them sound like the best thing ever. So we love training doodles. We work with a lot of them. Particularly Bernedoodles seem to be very popular right now. And then of course the classic Labradoodles and Golden Doodles, mini doodles, we see them a lot. The most common issues we see tend to be reactivity and nervousness. So part of this is genetic. Part of this, I think, is the type of owner that is attracted to doodles. You know, they're very cute, like a little teddy bear. So people want to treat them like a little teddy bear, like a little stuffed animal. But it is still a dog. And if you treat a dog like a baby, he's going to treat you like a dog. That's not something I came up with, but it is very true. So it is important to recognize that when you have a mixed breed, you're not necessarily going to get the best of both traits. First of all, I'll link this in the description, but doodles are not hypoallergenic. If they were, they would not have coats that mat. If you think about it, you know, the matted fur is the dead fur that is being shed, and then it gets caught in all the curly fur that they have and creates a mat. So if they didn't shed, they wouldn't mat. They do mat, so you know, they may be less allergenic than some other dogs, but they are not hypoallergenic, definitely. And they can have a very wide variety in types of coats. So some of them are easy to deal with. Some of them are very difficult to groom, and can cost you a lot of money at the groomer, unless you learn how to do it yourself, which if you have a nervous, anxious dog, maybe you're not quite ready to do that yourself. You don't want to learn grooming on a dog that's very difficult to groom. But what I was getting into, sometimes the issues with doodles can be genetic. The nervousness and reactivity definitely can have a genetic component. Some of it has to do with how they were raised. Like if the mother is stressed when she is raising the litter, that can actually change how the puppy's brains develop. If they're not getting the proper socialization, early neurological stimulation that helps their brain kind of make it through adversity, you know, minor things like really good breeders will do things like put their puppies on a cold surface for a minute or two and then bring them back into the warmth. So just like learning how to overcome challenges can be very difficult for doodles, and they just completely lose their mind. So like I said, the doodles are often marketed as like, it's the best thing ever. You'll get a hypoallergenic dog who is super easy to train, super friendly, super loving. They're just easy. Not necessarily. If that is your expectation and you're just thinking it's going to be easy, you're not going to have to do anything, and you're just going to have this dog who just knows everything to do, unfortunately that's not realistic. So often people give their dogs way too much freedom in the house to make mistakes before the dog has learned what the correct thing to do is. And all of a sudden your puppy is peeing behind the couch, it's chewing up the baseboards. These are all owner errors because you're the one who decided to give your dog access to those parts of your house without your supervision. So the biggest thing that I recommend for any puppy owner is crate training, not because I want you to have your dog live in a crate, but because puppies need a lot of rest. They need at least 18 hours of sleep a day. More is not a bad thing either. So the nipping, jumping, hyper behaviors often can be due to overtiredness, almost like a baby having, you know, they're just fussy because they're overtired or they're hungry or whatever. The rule of thumb is about 1 hour more than the puppy is old in months. That is the maximum amount of time they can spend in the crate. So 4-month-old dog can spend 5 hours maximum in the crate, which might sound like a lot to some people, might not sound like a lot to other people, but it is perfectly reasonable. If you're taking your puppy out every 30 or 45 minutes, the dog is not resting. You're not actually helping the situation. you need to give the dog a long enough time. And they are babies, they are gonna cry. So you're the one who signed up for that. So that's just part of the crate training. Boundary setting, also a very important part of having a dog, any dog, not just a doodle. So the dog does not automatically get access to the couch. They don't get food from the table. They are not allowed to jump on people, even if they're little and it's cute right now. It's not going to be cute when the dog is older and is just crawling all over people who may not want that. You want the default to be calm, under control, and then once that's the default, then maybe you can go up to teaching the dog to jump on your lap and things like that. But not before then. Privileges are contingent on good behavior. There was a doodle that we worked with recently he had actually a very nice personality, pretty much what you would want when you are getting a doodle. Extremely friendly, just kind of environmentally stable. By that I mean noises didn't really bother him. He's friendly with people, dogs, everything. Just a really chill, happy, shaggy dog. His owner was really struggling with the leash walking, which that was just due to him not knowing how to be walked on a leash. People often will allow puppies to just pull them, and then all of a sudden the dog gets so big that they can't handle it anymore. And maybe that's why he ended up in a rescue and his new owner got him. I'm not really sure. So first of all, we worked with Bruce on how to settle in a crate. He was getting so stubborn on the leash that he would not even go in the entire room that his owner had dedicated to him, because he wouldn't go in the crate. She was thinking, okay, maybe we can use a room as a crate. But there were too many incorrect options. He was spinning around, he was barking, he was getting himself worked up because there were too many wrong choices. Even in a space that was as small as a room, it was too much for him. Dogs will feel more secure if it's a smaller area at first, and then you can open it up, not the other way around. So we worked on that, and in one lesson he was going in the crate and learning how to settle down in there. We also worked on the place command, which is kind of like the next step up, teaching the dog how to settle and be calm on a little bed. He was a very big dog, so his tail was like a weapon, particularly in the kitchen. His owner was afraid that he was going to turn on the gas burner on accident, or jump up on the counter and get into something that he shouldn't. So place was actually a safety thing for that family. He was just way too big to be in their small kitchen while they're working in there. He also, the big issue with the leash walking as well was when he would want to chase squirrels. He was just so strong that he would, and the owner really struggled to hang on to him. So correct training tools are also going to be a big one with a large dog or a dog that just doesn't know yet. You want to have some form of breaks for your dog. It's not always about, teaching them, yes, stay with me with the food, stay with me with the food. A squirrel is going to be worth way more than food to a dog who has very high prey drive. And how are you going to devalue that if all you have is food? It's like, oh, here's some more of the stuff you don't want. I know you really want the squirrel, but I'm going to give you a little, cardboard-like treat. That's not going to work because it's not a reward to the dog in that moment. So you have to have a way to devalue the squirrel, whether that's a head halter, prong collar, whatever tool you're using to work with the dog. There's many different ones and pros and cons of each. We tailor the approach to every dog we work with. So we'd be happy to help you. Just get in touch at fluentdogs.com and tell us about your doodle.